ProWrestlingSheet.com.
Welcome, everybody, to a very special Collider Bodyslam recap show. We are recapping All In that came out of Chicago this past weekend, put on by the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes. Originally 10,000 people were there. No, it was over 11,000 people. A lot of people had a lot of opinions. My social media, Twitter was blowing up with people's opinions before I got to actually watch it last night and early this morning. So I got to hear about all the stuff that was going on, people's opinions. But look, everybody knows the buck stops with my co-host here, Ryan Satin, who of Pro Wrestling Sheet, who was there at All In Chicago, a special guest, had his own show that he did there. So much happened, and you got to watch all the matches live in person. So we're going to break down every match, and we're going to talk about it from his perspective, having been there, and all the stuff that's probably going on that wasn't filmed, and my perspective, having watched it. So first of all, Ryan, welcome.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
You're still recovering? You're just off the plane yesterday?
But I'm still on a high from it all, man. I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. It was hard to watch Raw last night.
Really?
I was on such a high from the event. You know,
sure.
One of the main things that everyone was really talking about after the show, and I even talked about it in the airport with Dave Meltzer, who, a ton of wrestling fans care about his opinion, obviously.
Of course.
And he and I, we both of us were very busy all weekend doing different things, so we didn't have a chance to talk at the Starcast Hotel, but the two of us ran into each other at the airport.
Yeah.
And I think he and I, we do have different views when it comes to wrestling. We have different ideologies and just different thoughts on it.
Yeah, you like Peyton Royce. He doesn't. Yeah, I'm just joking. I'm nobody to Dave. He flicks me off his shoulder. So, but I like getting a shot in. Yeah, go ahead. Anyway, yeah.
But when we ran into each other at the airport, I think we both, we both had the exact same opinion. And it was the opinion that most of the people who I went to the show with, or people that I talked to the show with at the airport, had the same feeling afterwards. And most wrestling shows that we attend, there's always, mainly pay-per-views, big events. We're always, there's a lot of times when fans are all predicting the same thing is going to happen. And when that's going on, usually it's because all the fans want that thing to happen.
Right, fair.
And they say it's a prediction, but it's really all of us wanting that to happen. And then in an effort to, swerve people or to have a level of unpredictability, a lot of times they don't do that to try and spice things up a little bit. And when you do that too much, it starts to kind of feel like, man, they're never going to do what I want, you know. And that's why I think has led to a lot of fans rebelling at shows, trying to hijack shows, all things of that nature. Mad about Roman Reigns, mad about Charlotte, all the above. This show was nice because even though predictable things happened, if you watch Being the Elite.
Yeah.
If you watch Being the Elite for the past year, especially since they announced All In was going to happen, if you have followed all of that since Cody came aboard, since Flip, the whole Flip saga, the whole Joey Ryan Dick saga, all of it got paid off. And we don't see a lot of satisfying payoffs in wrestling as much anymore in terms of storylines, because, a lot of times indie wrestling is mainly just about the matches, even Ring of Honor, New Japan. It's there's not the soap opera element as much. It's a lot more focused on the sport, the matches. And Cody, growing up the son of Dusty Rhodes, knows how important that is. And same with the Young Bucks, because they've shown that with Being the Elite, that they don't even have wrestling on that show. And it's one of the most popular wrestling shows that exists right now, And so, I mean, you can even look at the difference between Ring of Honor and All In. Ring of Honor doesn't necessarily have that cool vibe that All In did for some of their shows. And I love Ring of Honor and stuff, but All In had this cool future vibe. And I think that the reason people enjoyed it so much was because it was satisfying endings to storylines that, even if they were predictable, it was what you wanted. It was fan service. It was they know their audience, and they were giving their audience what that audience wanted. And there were people who didn't like some of the things. People didn't like the Dick Druids. People who didn't like some of that stuff. But there are also a lot of people who don't watch Being the Elite. And if you watch Being the Elite, if you're one of those 100,000 people a week who watches it, this was awesome for you.
Yeah, agreed. Well, the whole thing kicked off with the Briscoe brothers taking on SoCal Uncensored. Really powerful match, man. I mean, some of the moves going on there. There's a reason I love NXT more than WWE main stuff, because you can get away with more grittier moves, more power, scarier moves, those kinds of things. The entire pay-per-view All In felt that you had more risk-taking moves, and that just the fans love that. When you heighten the risk factor up to a level 10 or level 11, the fans go with you. Whether you hit the spots or not, they're just happy you even tried it. So I thought this was a really good match to kick off the pay-per-view.
Me too. And I almost feel like maybe this should have kicked off the actual
because this was on WGN America.
Yeah, this was on the 0 hour.
Yeah.
And that crowd was so ready.
Yeah.
I mean,
hyped.
They were ready. They were ready to react. And I do think that putting SCU out there was a good decision because they're one of the main characters on Being the Elite right now. You know, they're such a fixture on Being the Elite that crowd was there to see Being the Elite related things. And I think that's honestly what kind of hurt MJF versus Matt Cross a lot as being the all-in regular show opener, because they weren't necessarily attached to anything going on with Being the Elite. And it did kind of damper the crowd a little bit, as much as I enjoyed that match. But this match, the SCU versus Briscoes match, hard-hitting stuff. And it just helped that, man, that crowd was so into everything SCU was doing. That finish... Have you ever seen it? I don't recall ever seeing that reversal before.
It's incredible.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they did the I also like that they did they were doing the homage to the Road Warriors since Animal was there.
Yeah.
But when they reversed that, I was like, shit, man, that was impressive.
It was.
Like that was really good. I like the Rocky.
The Rocky 3 thing was great.
The Rocky 3 thing was great.
Yeah.
And it's a running theme throughout the show of just like fun things that weren't necessarily made to make a mockery of things or anything like that. It was just fun that added to everything, WrestleMania, it's the same thing with WrestleMania when there's like a fun, outfit that someone wears for the match. We didn't mention it here, but I liked, and I think this was on the show because I was live. So sometimes I'm pretty sure this was on the show when they came out beforehand, the Young Bucks and the Cody at the top of the show.
That was great.
And they were like,
really
do you want to see us spend all of our budget right now?
Sure, the pyro. Hit the pyro.
And then they had like the Road Warrior come out. I loved all that. That was really good.
Animal was great.
Got things, and it gave you an idea of like what was to come the rest of the night. So I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed this match. I think it was a great way to kick off the show.
Yeah, and Kazarian, listen, to me, Kazarian's been one of those guys who's always dance around the edges of stuff. You know, like Stevie Richards, kind of dancing around the edges of stuff. But Kazarian, even less respect, in my opinion, from what I've seen. But he showed out well in this match. It was so much fun to watch him wrestle and not be like hamstrung by some of the stuff when I saw him at TNA and other promotions. And I think he's friends with our own pit boss, Ken Knapsack. So I had a special kind of rooting interest in Kazarian doing well in this match. And it was back and forth. There were some who I thought for sure they killed him. I thought for sure they killed Kazarian 2 or 3 times. And I was like, this is so much fun. And you're right. They came out with that Rocky 3 stuff. They came out the way they came out. It was like they were saying to the fans, we got you. Don't sweat it. We know what you want. We're going to give it to you. Let's have fun. And the thing is, it's cool to dress up, but you got to dress up with a pop culture reference that the fans themselves enjoy. And Rocky 3 was a really smart way to go with the trunks and everything. Just brilliant.
The same way you are with Frankie Kazarian is how I am with Scorpio Sky, too. Scorpio Sky, I think he's insanely talented. Yeah. He's been around for a while, and I've been waiting for him to get his moment for a while, and I love that it's come with Being the Elite. He's such a good wrestler. I love that he's over now. I love that this SCU thing has worked out. All around, I'm happy with it. I worked with him at Championship Wrestling in Hollywood, and I always thought that he was so insanely talented that he should be given a bigger platform. So it's great to see that he has been given that bigger platform. And, it was almost a running theme. It was a very subtle theme, but I liked that the show not only paid tribute to the past with guys like Tommy Dreamer and which we'll get to Lanny, in a little bit. And Lanny Poffo, all that stuff. I love
DDP,
that, right? DDP. I love that it not only paid respect to the past in that regard, which was almost like the Cody side of things, but also paid respect to indie legends throughout the time. And it wasn't like they were in your face that this was like the indie legends show, but the fact that you had Frank Kazarian, Christopher Daniels, Excalibur on commentary, Matt Cross, all these people who have been the Young Bucks, who have been permanent fixtures on the independent scene for a good time now. I like that it was like putting the spotlight on those guys as well, and not in a way where it felt like we're only. Yeah, even Hebner. It was like they paid tribute to indie wrestling and wrestling's past all at the same time without it being like in your face, where it was something where you're like, man, I really like this.
Yeah.
I really like this.
Yeah, agreed. Good match all the way around. Best way to kick it off, I thought, in that way. Then you had the over-budget Battle Royal. I mean, way more people than they announced were going to be in this Battle Royal were in this Battle Royal. So I was really surprised at how many people were involved. Loved seeing Hurricane Helms again. Loved seeing badass Billy Gunn. By the way, listen, I know people love DX. I know they love the Road Dogg. I know they love Triple H and Shawn Michaels. But the badass Billy Gunn is the unsung hero of DX.
Absolutely.
That mother effer can wrestle and wrestle well. He's always in shape, tells a great story. He has no problem being beaten or winning, and he is having so much fun. And that theme song, I'm an ass man, that is unstoppable, son. So I still have that on my workout mix. It's so fucking great.
You nailed it right there with Billy Gunn. With he's having fun.
Yes.
You know, when you watch him now, it definitely is so evident that he's doing this for the fun.
Yes.
You know, I obviously needs money. Not needs, but is doing it for money as well. It's a job.
Who doesn't?
But it's nice to see Billy Gunn enjoying what he does. I mean, when I've seen him do it at bar wrestling where he does like that fake out spot where he's going to do the outside dive but doesn't. Love it. I like that Billy Gunn, you know, since leaving WWE when he was in the trainer position, has really gone out there and is trying to be, you know, help to the indie scene or you know, he's been used in a lot of matches on big shows. Like, you know, he was on the New Japan show in Long Beach. I mean, he's been used and a lot of people give him shit, but I've always been a big Billy Gunn fan.
He always delivers.
Always delivers.
No matter what they ask him to come in and do, he always delivers.
It's just because a lot of
Find me a bad Billy match.
People just love to give him shit because of that time when he did get the big push and it kind of like didn't go well when he was the one Billy Gunn or whatever. Yeah. And then he kind of became the Billy and Chuck stuff, so he gets kind of taken less seriously. But Billy Gunn is a badass who would kick your ass and is awesome in the ring. I'm also a huge fan. I was a huge fan of this Battle Royal in general.
Yeah, I was surprised how much I enjoyed it.
Me
I thought
too.
it was going to be like a WWE WrestleMania Battle Royal. It was boring, but it was actually a lot of damn fun.
Yeah, it was very well paced.
Yeah. Yes.
Very well. Like the spots were done well. Like the everything made sense in it. Question, since I wasn't watching it with commentary. Did they ever announce, like, did they ever explain the rules or anything like that, like about over the top or anything? Because
people were going out from the side rope and everything.
Because it was very confusing for me in the audience initially. I know that, and the people around us were like, wait, are there different rules for this match? Because it wasn't like, normally in a typical Battle Royal,
over the top.
Everyone starts in the match and they're all kind of fighting to push each other over.
Right.
And this kind of mixed the like Royal Rumble concept where like guys go under the ring and like they're outside of the ring doing spots. So it was different than the norm for what you see for a Battle Royal. You don't normally see like, you know, moonsaults from the apron during a Battle Royal and stuff because it was like, well, no, you don't. You want to stay in the ring, you know, during a Battle Royal.
It was intense,
So it was confusing, but I liked it. I mean, there were some awesome moments in it too. I mean, Jordan Grace with Brian Cage.
Woo!
She had a star-making moment.
Good God.
I mean, that was great. That was great.
God, that was incredible.
They made her look like $1 million.
Yes.
And even though she didn't win the match, there are some people who didn't know, who were not aware of her before, or maybe only mildly aware of her before, who are like, damn, she is a star in the making.
Yes.
100%.
God help Ronda Rousey if she ever gets there.
Now you mentioned this to me via text before the show, but you were not.
I didn't know if you were going to bring this up.
Well, you weren't stoked on the Bully Ray stuff.
Listen, let's have a conversation.
Let's do it. I want to hear what you think about
it.
Look,
here's the deal. Look, and I know Billy Ray will probably pull my heart out of him. Bully Ray, or whatever his name is this week, Bubba Ray, Bully Ray. If you put a heart out, and look, mad props to him. He got Velvet Sky. Talk about punching above your weight. I mean, like super props. But I don't get why people want to put him over so much. I just don't understand it. He's a good wrestler, fun. I loved him. I loved the Dudleys for what they were. I enjoyed the hell out of them when they did the stuff they're doing. But I don't get how he's the last guy standing for Flip Gordon to flip out. That was bullshit to me. I thought there was so much more. Brian Cage should have been the last guy. I just feel like there are other wrestlers that should have been there at the end and should have been part of that swerve. So to see Bully there and then bring him back later again, I just was like, I don't get it. I don't get people's overwhelming love of Bully Ray and why he gets into these positions that he gets into. Because I've heard he's kind of a difficult guy to deal with.
Well, see, I think most people hate him as much as you do when it comes to like his character. And I think that, to be honest with you, I think that's why I liked him in this role, because most people, if there's one person in that match who people did not want to see win that match, it was Bully Ray.
It really was Bully Ray.
And because of that, I think they did a really good job of making you be like, at the end of going like, really? Bully Ray? Bully Ray is going to win this match? Like, that's the one we're going to see later in the show. And then to have Chico run back in and you know, knock Bully out of the match and hit me Flip Gordon and give you what you pretty much 95% of the people watching the match wanted was for Flip Gordon to win the match. If you watched me in the Elite and you followed all of the saga of Flip not being all in. Every time Cody says he's not going to be all in, even at the presser before the show I watched, you know, I was at the press conference that happened on Friday night. And Cody was doing a Q&A with the crowd and, you know, getting questions from everyone. And the last question was like, is Flip going to be all in? You know, last champ, is Flip going to be all in? And he was like, well, there's an extra spot in the Battle Royal, but Flip's not getting, he's not all in. And like walked off the stage. And it was great. You know, I loved it. So I think it was, you know, I think, yes, I can see how you, as you know, I can see how your frustration over them, over Bully Ray getting such a spotlight. However, he is one of the top heels in Ring of Honor. He has been bullying everyone. He has been bullying Flip. He has been bullying Colt Cabana. You know, he's been bullying people. So it does make sense in that regard. So I was with it only because, did you see the Chico thing coming?
No.
I'm pretty proud of myself on this one. I was sitting there watching it live. And I was saying, man, are they really not going to put Flip in this match? And I was like, man, that sucks. I can't put Flip in this match. And then I said to myself, I like sat up and I had like an epiphany and I said to the guy next to me, I said, Flip is going to be Chico El Luchador, isn't he? Oh my gosh. Flip's going to come back into the end and knock out someone and unmask as Chico El Luchador. I like rushed to my phone like, oh my God, I got to do this. This is totally going to be right. I know it. And everyone was going to say I'm a psychic. And I was like doing it real fast. And then sure enough, like, boom, send. And then 5 minutes later, Chico comes running back in. I was like, yes, I was right. So I wanted Flip in the match. I think Flip versus Jay Lethal is what everyone wanted to see.
Yes.
So that was great. I'm trying to remember some of the other surprises. Marco Stunt very much stood out.
Listen, let me say, because I want to make the fans know, I didn't know everybody in this match. I'll be honest with you.
All of them.
Who is the like really, really skinny kid?
Marco Stunt. That's what I'm talking about.
God.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be like a fodder, just fodder.
Me too.
They were going to pass him to each other like a gangbang. But no, he did some incredible damn moves, and that double knee shot he had was bringing him down. Like all on Brian Cage, all of that was incredible.
Yeah.
So he really showed out. I loved that you had a little more with Chucky T. I love that you got some with Tommy Dreamer. It was great to see Tommy in there.
Absolutely.
Tommy's put on the pounds. You can't deny that, but it's still nice to see him in there. So I just had a really good time. And Colt Cabana be in there.
Ethan Page also, he did a really good job in that match. That like cutter that he did was badass.
It was so cool.
And I'm with you though. Marco Stunt. I saw everyone impressed with Marco after Joey Janela's lost in New York, and I missed his standout showing at that show. And then I saw when he got booked, so I was excited. I wanted to see if he was going to live up to the hype.
Yeah.
Definitely did. And it was funny because I don't know how old the guy is, but I'm sure he's 18 or something like that.
Yeah.
I would imagine, but he doesn't look like he looks like he's 12, you know. And so it was funny to me how the conversation of the past week, it seemed, on Twitter was Izzy, the super fan, getting the choke slam, and she's so young, and this guy looks like he's the same age as her. And I was like, well, this is All In's answer to should Izzy take a choke slam as Marco Stunt guy, you know? But yeah, he did a great job. I very much was impressed. I'm trying to think of anyone else that really impressed me. Those were definitely the standouts of that match for sure. But I liked they really did. It was one of my favorite battle royals in a while.
I agree with that. Absolutely. And then we're probably missing like 25 other people or 20 other people. But everybody, I thought, and Moose was great. It was great to see Moose in there as well, doing the stuff that he was doing.
Him out.
That was so much fun. And, people were saying like the gimmick of him being Flip Gordon is something Dusty would have done. So it's a Dusty finish in a way. So that was great in that way. All right, Matt Cross took on MJF.
And real best, that was, just that is a perfect example of like a long-running storyline that they have been doing for like a year almost. Well, however long since the All In stuff started. They have been doing it for so long, and they paid it off in a way that everyone wanted to see. And if that had been a WWE Battle Royal, it would have been someone else.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And that's the bottom line. Like, I'm not trying to talk shit on WWE.
No.
I love WWE, but it isn't necessarily what the fans always want. And that's why I was so happy with this.
Agreed. As I was saying, we move on now to Matt Cross versus MJF. You were saying you didn't think it was the best way to start the actual pay-per-view?
Well, I thought the match was great.
Oh, you thought they were the victim of having started with the Briscoes?
I think that was a bit of a problem. The match was great.
Yeah,
they
I
both
thought so too.
Tore it up.
Yeah.
MJF proved that he is definitely a future star in the wrestling world. Matt Cross showed why he's been a mainstay for so long. Yeah. Great show. I just felt like it was in a tough spot. You know, it was in a really tough spot. You know, the SCU match was like a direct being the elite. This was a match that helped with that was being elite related. Yeah. And then the over the top battle royal, since it was related to an ROH title shot and had such big ramifications for the winner, and because it ended up involving Flip, which was another big being the elite storyline. I felt like this, because everyone was so hyped from Flip and so hyped from SCU, that this didn't really have as much of a push behind it.
That's fair.
There wasn't really like a huge online push for this match. There wasn't a ton of storyline going into it. It was really just this guy who's got a huge upside in the wrestling industry versus this other guy who has been a mainstay. And
they kind of a journeyman too.
They did a good job. It was a great match. I very much enjoyed it. I just thought that it was in a tough place.
Yeah. Well, Cross won. Yeah. So I was like, okay, we're going to do that?
That surprised me. That surprised me,
me too. I'm like, you let MJF show off, and he's a great heel through the whole match, and then you have him lose to Matt Cross. Cross showed me a lot of things I hadn't seen from him before. So, I think a lot of these guys throughout the night, and the ladies throughout the night, just showed some moves that I hadn't seen before, tried some new stuff. You know what? You want to do that in front of a crowd that's going to let you do that. And I saw that from Matt Cross. I really loved that.
One of the highlights of the whole weekend was MJF, just in general. Like, his dad was there, and his real dad, not Colt Cabana, his real dad, and his dad was like walking around telling everyone that he was MJF's dad and stuff. It was the best. And then his dad even tweeted me. I said something about because I also, one of my other favorite moments involved MJF over the weekend. It was at StarCast. It was after the show. It was the after party. Yeah. After All In. It was the after party for All In, and I was talking to MJF about his match, and some fan comes walking up, and he goes like, "Hey MJF, I just want to tell you, I'm a huge fan. Like, your match killed it tonight. I'm a big," and he's just, as he's saying this, for those of you who aren't watching the video, he's got his hand out for a handshake, and he's saying all of this stuff to MJF with his hand extended for a handshake, and MJF just sat there staring at his hand, like shaking his head, yes, but just staring at his hand for a full minute, doesn't answer the guy. He just shakes his head approvingly, like, as if like, "Oh, you want me to shake your hand? Okay," and then he said thanks, and then just like looked at the guy and didn't shake his hand. And the guy said something about like, "Oh, I also, by the way, I met your dad. Your dad's super cool, like, great guy." And he was like, "Yeah, I know. All the Friedman men are both very handsome and very humble." And then just stayed there staring at the guy's hand. And the guy just eventually like had it out there for a full minute and finally like pulled it back in and walked away. And I was dying. He also. When my girlfriend walked up, when I first said hi to him for the weekend on Thursday or Friday, whatever it was, I walked up to him and he just looked at my girlfriend and said, "Are you going to buy something or what?" Like, so it was great. He was so funny throughout the whole weekend. Also, that after party highlight of the entire weekend, I think, was something I will never see again. So that band Downstate, who does like Cody Rhodes' theme, a couple other themes, were playing. When they ended, the party then started playing wrestling theme songs over the PA, and they started playing AJ Styles' theme song, "That We Don't Want None." That we don't want none. We don't want none. And I look over, and there is a couple slow dancing to AJ Styles' theme song. Very seriously, slow dancing to AJ Styles' theme song. It was a sight truly to behold.
You had no idea who the couple was.
Well, I didn't want to take a picture or video because I don't want to be
rude. But you have no idea who they were?
I have no idea who they were. Just a random wrestling fan.
Maybe they met through AJ Styles match at an AJ Styles match.
No, because they kept it going. They kept it going.
Oh, they slow danced the whole time.
They were wrestling-themed slow dancers.
You just noticed them slow dancing at that theme, and then they kept going.
For a song or two, yes. Wow. Also, when that was happening, I noticed two guys, like, I saw two guys, like, doing, like, both dressed as John Cena, doing like a "You Can't See Me" off against each other as if they were like dance battling. It was wild. To be honest with you, some of these events in general was a lot of like dudes in black shirts kind of standing around listening to music but not dancing to it. So it was nice to see someone dancing at least. But yeah, that was a highlight of the weekend for sure. Yeah,
I got to go to the next one.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, Stephen Amell took on Christopher Daniels. All right, here's what I'll say. I worked at Universal Studios with Christopher Daniels, who sometimes will do the Waterworld show. Yeah. One of the most strangest experiences of my life was walking back from doing a set as a wand keeper in the Harry Potter land, and there's Christopher Daniels jumping out of a van to go to do Waterworld. And I was like, wait a minute. And just by reflex, I did the fallen angel, and I stuck my arms out, and he just kind of nodded at me and walked away. And I was like, oh, I marked out. A guy in my 40s, I marked out for him like hardcore walking back. So I couldn't believe. But like having him take on Stephen Amell, I wasn't sure about this. I wasn't sure if Daniels could carry the match. Daniels did everything possible to carry that match. Amell missed a couple of spots. He was too close to the rope with some of the moonsaults and stuff like that. You could tell that it's dangerous. I don't know, man. It's kind of dangerous to try those big old moves with a guy like Amell who's still figuring out timing and stuff like that. He was game. He did the Rob Van Dam move.
Coast to coast.
Coast to coast. That was pretty awesome. But I thought overall Daniels did his best, but I think Amell wasn't quite up to the task. But it was still a decent match for what it was.
Yeah, it was a decent match for what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the celebrity helped them a little bit, having this star power on the show and stuff. The coast to coast, as much as it kind of looked cool on video, like in person, I was like, Daniels moved halfway across the ring to like make that work. His body, it didn't even make sense. Like all of a sudden, you saw him like jump in one direction from the turnbuckle area. So it didn't quite make sense.
Yeah.
Although I will say that elbow drop to the outside where he went to the table.
Yeah. He took
Props
the bump.
him. He took the bump.
This
Respect.
guy's on a show.
You got to give respect to that.
This
you
guy
know?
could have injured himself for real.
That guy is getting paid a lot of money to do a very popular show. Did not have to jump to the outside to go through. That shows his dedication.
Respect.
So I got to respect that 100%.
Absolutely.
But you know, so it was what it was. The match. I don't think it was like any 5-star match.
He didn't do terrible.
No,
I've seen celebrities do way worse.
Absolutely.
Than this. Dennis Rodman.
A piece of me. Dennis Rodman.
Karl
for sure.
Malone. Yeah, go ahead.
A piece of me was hoping that Neville was going to help him win.
Oh, shit.
You know, because they had that history
Right.
too. So a piece of me was kind of hoping for that. Right. But you know, and also I will say that, you know, I don't need everyone to be hugging after every match either.
That was weird.
You know,
I did not like that.
I didn't like that.
I didn't like that.
I'm not, and especially because it happened in the match after that too with the women. So
Stop it.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a bummer.
This isn't the Four Horsewomen. Stop it.
Yeah, like exactly. Like it wasn't some career milestone for Stephen Amell. I mean, he should have helped. If anything, he should have. I would think sold it for Christopher Daniels. But I get it. You want to have the celebrity kind of like get some of his heat back too. So I get it.
We're just old school guys, man. We don't want that kind of crap because you can do that behind. You can. It feels almost self-congratulatory.
It does kind of.
Right?
Yeah,
so
that's all. That's honestly why I don't like it. It's one thing. Like I felt like with the women, it made a little more sense because it was like the only women match on the card, a history-making event.
Yeah, and they were going up. Yeah.
You know, that felt a little different to me. But this one was a little too self-serving in my opinion. Like you said,
it was one too many of it.
One too many of it for sure. I will say, I like that they did the whole set up the table, leave it there for a while, come back to it. You know, like I always like when that happens in wrestling, when it's like, oh, they're leaving that there for later. You know, like it's a bummer when they don't go back to it and you thought that, but this wasn't one of those things, and it was the psychology of it was done very well.
Yeah, I would question people who were saying Amell did a great job. I want to question those people and be like, did he? Are you looking at superstar fandom instead of looking at actually what was happening? Well, are you judging him like you would judge a wrestler?
Well, if you compare, no, you would
a professional wrestler.
Judging compared to wrestler, no. But if you judge him with other celebrities,
certainly,
absolutely. I mean, that guy who didn't Impact, a football player, he was really good. I liked him. Amell was up there. He was up there. He did. He looked believable in the ring. I just kind of feel like it wasn't as great as I would have liked.
Fair enough. Let's move on to the Fatal 4-Way. One of my favorite TNA ladies, Madison Rayne, taking on Britt Baker, and then the crazy Chelsea Green, and Tessa the Star. This woman's only 22. 23, whatever. Her and Tony Storm right now, that's who my eyes are on for the future. What's going to happen here? And of course, we send our best out to Tony. Hope she recovers soon to come back. This was actually a damn good match. And not to say because of women involved. No, I mean because when you have 4 people from different areas coming in, it can be hairy. And if you're doing the 4 corners match, you're doing all this everybody's in the ring at the same time. A lot of stuff can go wrong. The ending was a little confusing. That kind of is a negative about it. But I thought these ladies pulled off some incredible moves, some really powerful moves, stuff I hadn't seen before from other ladies, even in NXT. Yes. So I was just surprised at how much I really enjoyed the match and the lengths to which these ladies went to in the match to almost destroy each other.
Absolutely. I mean, the women in general on this pay-per-view all stood out when given a chance.
Absolutely.
They all shined in different areas. This was definitely one of them.
Yeah.
These 4 ladies killed it. One of the best matches on the show, except for the finish. That finish, man.
You were like, what happened?
It really
did the ref fuck up? Who messed up?
I don't know at this point, and I almost wonder if it was done that way because of politics, because of different companies, and you know, one girl who left TNA versus a girl who is in Impact, and just kind of some of the different hurdles you have to face when putting all those girls in one match together. But that being said, yeah, it was a star-making moment for a lot of Tessa and Chelsea are stars.
Chelsea's great.
Yeah.
My God. Like, she and for a skinny girl, you think she's going to break in half the time doing the stuff that she's doing. She takes all the bumps and delivers some great bumps, great technical moves that I really enjoyed watching her do. But Tessa's a damn beast.
Yeah.
Man, Tessa looks scary as hell when she's in that ring.
She's the one who won the match, right?
Yeah, she won.
Yeah, and I like that. I had to ask because that finish did confuse me a little bit at the end when I was watching it. And I was a little higher up, but although my suite was dope that I was in, because it was like food, alcohol, all that kind of stuff.
Look at you.
No, I paid for those seats.
Okay,
so
fair
whatever.
enough.
My friend just happened to get one of those suites. What was I gonna say? Shit, I got thrown off. Tess, I liked because, like I said, this event felt like it was paying respect to the current crop of wrestlers, but also paying respect to the past. And Cody winning the NWA title was kind of like in that vein, why it was so special, even though the NWA title hasn't really been that relevant in the past 10 years or whatever. And Tessa winning this match, I kind of liked it as well. It felt like another famous offspring that is a future, that is a current star, but also related with ties to the past, but also part of the future. And I like that I think Tessa was a perfect person to win this match.
You have to start measuring everything by Ronda Rousey. In my opinion, now that she's champion, everybody's talking about she's going to be there for a while. She says that. I think Tessa and Ronda looks like a awesome match.
Yeah.
That could be an incredible match. And once again, Tessa, I think, is around 22, 23, 24, something like that. Our own Jen Sturger, she's good friends with her. She said that she can get her on the show. Anytime we get Tessa Blanchard on the show, I'd be happy to get Tessa Blanchard on the show.
I mean,
great.
yeah. No, that actually, I met Jen out there.
Oh, nice. Cool.
On my birthday night when I was out drinking. I went to the Wrestler Hotel and ran into Jen there, and I told her, hopefully we'll get her in here one of these days.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Gotta get her. So anyway, that was a good match. So, and a lot of finishers, multiple finishers by all these ladies were put on. So this match could have ended many different times, which I liked about that. All right, now moving on, what you just said, Cody Rhodes took on Nick Aldis for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Everybody was surprised. Like, people were predicting Aldis wasn't going to make it. There was going to be someone else that Cody fought, but it ended up being Aldis. And I thought them coming out with their entourages was interesting who they chose. Hall of Famer, WWE Hall of Famer Jeff Jarrett coming out with Aldis was a little weird for me. DDP, Tommy Dreamer coming out with Cody. Overall, the match, I thought the match was good. I wanted it to be better, but I thought the match was good. And the 5-minute weird DDP break was a little strange. But overall, what had to happen happened. And mad respect to Cody. And didn't feel like some guy kissing his own ass either. It felt like Cody had earned this by putting this on, and the fans gave it to him, gave him the love. And Brandy being out. Oh, my God. I don't want to get in trouble.
I know,
Brandy is
that's
gorgeous.
all you need to say. But no. I mean, during the show, I was sitting with Jamie, my coach, Jamie Ivey, and he was just like, man, the whole like he was like, trying to pay attention to the match. He was just like,
it
was
hard.
Yeah, no, but look it. Yeah. I agree with you, about some of the things you said there. But I think that I like that it had a very old school vibe to it.
It did.
Very much
Absolutely
felt old school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think that. Even myself, as someone who isn't really like a aficionado when it comes to old school wrestling, especially NWA and Dusty Rhodes, I loved this. I loved it because there's only a few titles that you can look at and be like, that title did sell out arenas like this at a certain time. And Dusty Rhodes is one of the guys who did it with that title, and so it was really cool. It almost felt like I went into a time machine. Like, it was cool going back and being like, man, that's what that crowd felt like when they saw Dusty Rhodes winning NWA titles and stuff like that. Even the finish was very old school. With the way he rolled them up or whatever. And, I think that it felt like an NWA title match. Mm-hmm. And I think that, considering the NWA has been largely irrelevant for a long time. Now, I know that's not to say that I don't respect everything Lagana and Billy Corgan have been doing, but they've got a big hill to climb. Yeah. I mean, to bring that back to relevance isn't an easy thing. To bring anything into relevance isn't an easy thing. And this was the first time in a long time where I've cared about the NWA. Yeah. I actually want to go watch the NWA special that's coming up. I think it's next month. I'm interested now in the NWA because Cody is the champion. Yeah. And I think that you mentioned this at the beginning of that right there. You said that a lot of people didn't necessarily want Nick Aldis in that role. Expected someone a little better to be in an NWA title match. And I was one of those people. I didn't really care about Nick Aldis. Okay. He's never really someone I've been super interested in. But man, he played his part perfectly to a T.
To a T, man.
Yeah, he was a great heel, great foil for Cody Rhodes the whole time.
Took his time. Yeah.
Made you want to see him lose.
Yep.
Made the victory for Cody that much better. He carried himself like an actual threat when he was in the ring, and I liked that. And I loved those cornermen. I liked the way they did the Tommy Dream, Tommy and all that kind of stuff, having his own team, and having Tommy on his team.
Yeah.
Glacier, who would have expected Glacier to be on his team? No one,
Glacier.
I would have been cool. Goldust would have been one of them, but I obviously know that's not possible.
Yeah, right.
Although I did find it a little weird that he wasn't there at all. Goldust, like. He could have been backstage. Like, I was kind of surprised that he wasn't, to be honest with you.
Maybe Vince said to him, I was like, you can't go.
But he was tweeting about it all weekend and
just
giving
props. Just support his brother. But
he could have. It's not like they were gonna Robbie Highlander him and show him in the backstage area helping out with fucking production. He could have just been hey, we got Robbie Highlander here. I don't think they would have done that to him.
Yeah.
So and obviously he might have had other things he had other things for
maybe
work
the
he
house
had to
shows
do.
or something.
But I could have sworn I saw him doing stuff with Kane the same weekend, not doing house shows. So I don't know. I'm not positive. I don't know. I know he put out a video apologizing to Cody, saying he's sorry he couldn't be there and how proud he was and all that kind of stuff. So I get that. But yes, those guys did add a cool feel to it. You mentioned the Jeff Jarrett thing too. A little random.
Well, Jeff Jarrett gave Aldis his start. So
yes, but he also fired Aldis.
He also fired Aldis.
So, I saw Aldis posted on Instagram about
fair.
it.
That's fair.
I saw Aldis kind of posted on Instagram about it, saying look, I know this is weird. Hold on, I should pull this up because he did say he kind of addressed it because it was random. Shit, where is it? Oh, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just on Twitter. But I saw him kind of address it, basically saying that, look, I know he fired me, but this was my way of showing forgiveness, of showing people that we as people can move forward from things, and I like that. I did like that.
Yeah.
Sam Shaw and Daivari were random too.
Yeah, it was a little interesting. All of that.
I got Tim Storm. Tim Storm made a little more sense. I thought Billy Corgan should have been one of them, but then I would have made him look like, I guess, impartial a little bit if he's walking out with the champion, like he wouldn't want Cody to be the champion.
Right.
I don't know. I liked it though. It made it feel important. It gave it the extra feel. I liked the DDP thing.
You did?
I did like the DDP thing.
All right.
Yes, I
thought it just brought it to a halt all of a sudden.
Yeah, but I think also it kind of went back to the old school vibe of
maybe I need to rewatch it through your eyes, like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll enjoy it. So maybe I just got caught up with all these modern matches, and then this match kind of felt a little out of pace.
Yeah, I think.
So maybe I'll.
Yeah,
I'll
I
do
think that is why. Because I think that
that's fair.
I think that it was very much not the typical indie match. So I think that that's why him running in kind of made a little more sense to me, because it was kind of more of the sports entertainment match, even though it was NWA and whatever. It was more of what you know of wrestling, WCW, whatever,
Right.
So yeah, I like that. But man, how cool was it seeing Cody win the NWA title? I mean,
it was great.
As people who we all watched, we all saw the passing of Dusty Rhodes, and we've all seen how it's affected Cody.
Yeah.
And we've all seen.
There's a great Ringer article. If you guys haven't read it, I've mentioned it a couple times. Find that Ringer article about Cody. He talks about it.
Yeah.
And it's really
fantastic. How he feels Dusty through him when he goes into town and he kisses the ring or whatever, that whole thing. I read that article. It was a great article.
Yeah.
And you read that kind of stuff. So when you know that Cody cares about the past of that, and Cody cares so much about wrestling and so much about Dusty Rhodes and so much about legacy, that it was such a special moment.
Yeah.
It was one of those things that you wanted to see happen in WWE. That you wanted to see. Me personally, I always thought Cody could have had the potential to be the guy in WWE if given the opportunity. So I like that this is now, and I know he's been Ring of Honor champion and stuff. But I just. It brought it just like the nostalgia factor.
It's the closure. Yeah, it felt like closure.
Yeah, it really did.
His whole journey from when he left WWE, started on his own. Nobody knew what was going to happen. The stuff with Brandy, with the tweeting and all that. Is she going to stay or go? All of that. Have it built up. Support. Sponsor this. Fund this. Set it up. Get the wrestlers. Get everything squared away. Get everybody in the arena. Pull it off. Do the intro. Do all those matches. Then go down there and win that damn thing. That's a lot to put on one man's shoulders.
Yes.
And of course the Young Bucks helped him out, but it's a lot to put on. Cody's the face person of this thing.
Yes.
And yes, the Young Bucks, but Cody's the face person.
Yeah.
Because everyone feels that sentiment because of his legacy, because of Dusty. All of that.
Well, it's because there's been so many guys who actually there haven't been a lot of guys who you look at and you say, that guy could maybe start a company that rivals WWE.
Absolutely.
Because who actually has the balls to do it? You know who has had the balls to do it in the past? Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes has been one of those guys who helped fight WWE for a long time. Yes, he joined them at a certain point in time.
Sure.
But Dusty Rhodes was always one who didn't need the WWE, who could do it on his own, who could be the man elsewhere. Give him a title, give him some TV time, give him an event. He'll make it worthwhile. And I think that seeing Cody now, he almost looks like he's got blonde hair. He's got that Dusty Rhodes vibe.
Absolutely.
So you look at him and you go, you know what? That guy could fucking do it.
Yep.
He was under Vince's learning tree his whole career.
Yep.
He learned from Dusty. He literally learned from two of the best promoters of all time. Yeah. Just sitting there. Vince took a liking to Cody Rhodes. I mean, Cody Rhodes did get a lot of info from Vince. He said it in
He got a push.
He got multiple pushes, but he got a lot of a knowledge of the business from Vince as well. So to be able to sat under the learning tree of Vince McMahon and Dusty Rhodes, I mean, those kind of people do know what they're doing. And the fact that he's got someone like Lagana now who's helping produce things. He's got the Young Bucks who definitely have their thumb on the pulse of what's going on in cool wrestling. You know, like they know what people are gonna like, and they know how to make things be cool, to be the hip thing. And so I think that, man, like there's this groundswell right now, man. Like I think that everyone who watched that show thinks to themselves, they might start their own company.
Yeah, and the thing is, can you do this? Can you do this consistently? Can you create a weekly show? Can you be successful with it? Can you create the storyline? So it's going to take a lot of effort to go from this into a show. Will he co-opt NWA? What will happen there? So certainly him starting something from scratch will threaten the other federations that are not WWE for their talent. So I wonder.
Do you think...
Because he went a long way to winning over a lot of these guys and girls who were in these matches.
Do you think... Okay, do you watch Being the Elite?
Yes, every once in a while I'll watch episodes, because of Aaron Turner, that damn bastard.
Okay, do you think, and this is something that I've been wondering all weekend.
Yeah.
Do you think, let's say the Bucks the Bucks and Cody start their own promotion.
Sure.
Do you think that Being the Elite, because there's no wrestling on it, could be a weekly television series? Not internet.
Yes.
Right?
If you can have Total Bellas and you can have Total Divas, you can have Being the Elite.
Right?
Of course you can.
And I think Being the Elite could be their weekly television show that doesn't necessarily have to have wrestling on it.
Yeah.
That still pushes storylines that people would watch. I mean, for example, the NWA. They've been for the past year or whatever since Billy bought the company. Yeah. Their whole mindset has been like, we will match here and there, but it's really these stories. It's these stories that we want to push, you know. And I think that Being the Elite is the same thing. Where
look at Lucha Underground.
Totally,
there's all storylines.
Absolutely, I think that Being the Elite could be a half-hour show on TV that is weekly, that leads to bi-monthly big events like All In or whatever, and have satisfying ends, and they would make a lot of money. They would be successful. And it actually could maybe for once be an alternative to WWE. I mean, I could see it if the right investors got involved.
Of course.
I've been shocked that, since I've been kind of like going to PWG and watching more indie wrestling, I've always been shocked that there's no one capitalizing on it.
Yeah.
That there's these young, cool wrestlers, and it just kind of feels like they're not being capitalized on. And Being the Elite is the first one that really did start to capitalize on some of these people that are personalities, that are funny, that are entertaining, and I think it could be its own weekly show with Cody as the NWA champion as like that's the main title on Being the Elite now.
Yeah, look, if you're going to expand wrestling, you're going to make people bring in fans, keep them interested, keep them excited, keep them coming back to your product. You got to expand the genre. It's no different than superhero genre. You got to expand the style and the way you do it, right? You've got Logan, Deadpool, and then you've got your standard Avengers. You've got Spider-Man Homecoming, and then you've got something like something out of the mainstream that you do. So you've got to keep pushing the boundaries if something is supposed to survive. Lucha Underground is successful doing it. Total Divas, Total Bellas, like I said. You could definitely have this. I mean, there are 47 pillars holding up the WWE network, and a lot of them are shows that have nothing to do with wrestling.
Totally.
They're driving from one place to another. The animated series, the stories, those are those kinds of things that they all do that's great content because people because the stars are the selling point. And so if you put them into a storyline and the Being the Elite shows are hilarious as hell and also a bit like graphic.
Totally.
So you could play that whole game out and people would watch it if you put it on a main network.
Me too. And I think people
it's certainly possible.
want something different. People want different things. This is an alternative.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's go to the Chicago Street Fight. Speaking of alternative matches,
Cool.
Adam Page taking on Joey Janela. What a match this was with Hangman coming in doing the stuff that he was doing. And Joey, listen, great match from this guy. I was really surprised at some of the stuff I saw from him.
This was one I wasn't super looking forward to getting into it.
Yeah.
Didn't really I was like, whatever. I mean, I liked all the Joey Ryan, Hangman stuff, but it was like, but I remember when it got announced going, wait, we're not getting Hangman versus Joey at All In? Like, that storyline isn't what this all has been building up to. So I remember, like, that bothered me. And so I was kind of like, whatever, you know? Then the match happened.
Yeah.
Holy shit. These two guys.
Appropriate reaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
These two guys are both very young.
Yeah.
And they both wanted to make a name for themselves at the biggest indie wrestling show of all time. And it was very clear of that. Like, they basically killed each other in this match. They were just like, man, they were just kicking each other's asses. It was hard hitting. Even though it was a hardcore street fight, whatever. Good psychology. Everything made sense.
Yeah.
Fun to watch. Definitely, like, you know, it's tough to follow Cody Rhodes winning the NWA heavyweight title. Like, that's a really hard thing to follow.
Yeah.
And they made up for it in spades. I mean, these guys, like, they killed it.
Yeah.
It was probably my personal favorite match of the night.
Wow.
In terms of, like Cody was my favorite moment of the night.
Okay.
And what happened after the match was also was tied for my favorite moment of the match with all the Dick Druid stuff, which we're going to get into.
That was great.
Those were my two favorite moments of the night.
Right.
But my personal favorite match of the night, just bell-to-bell match of, like, what wowed me the whole time, was really this match. I mean, they were given a lot of time.
That's fair, man.
That finish was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I know that Janela has gone off of, like, a 5-foot story building from Zandig or whatever. So he's done some crazy falls, you know? But this man, I mean, like, this was something that was like, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, because that's too much, but it was very much like one of those moments like you see with Jeff Hardy and Edge when he got speared off the ladder. I mean, that move looked crazy off the ladder. Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know how you brace.
Right?
I was like, this is okay, he's going to kill him.
Because I usually don't really like that finishing move for Page. I'm not a big fan of that move. I don't love it. I don't think it looks that cool.
Right.
But it was really cool off the top of the ladder.
It did onto a table.
Through a table. Yeah,
it really did.
Very cool. Also, props to Penelope Ford in this match.
My God.
Dude.
She wrestled. She jumped in. When she jumped in, great moves.
That was one of the coolest moments of the night. I was very much not expecting that.
She delivered a stunner.
Dude, she did the stunner, all the, like, flips and the back stuff, everything. It was so impressive.
Yeah.
She, honestly, and I hate to, this is not a knock on Joey Janela in the slightest bit. Prediction-wise, in my opinion, I feel like Penelope's going to get signed before he does. I mean, I was looking at her like, this girl's a star. Yeah. I saw her all weekend doing different things. And Joey's a star, too.
Of course.
Joey has very much made a fan out of me. Didn't used to care for the guy. He has very much turned my opinion of him. But, man, I watched this and I was like, dude, Penelope is a star in the making. She's got a great look. She's very tall. She's like, you know, she can hold her own and stuff. I was like, I became a big fan of Penelope Ford after this weekend. Right. So I props to her, big time. Okay, so the penis druids. I'm just gonna say this.
Yes.
If you watched Being the Elite, then you loved this moment.
Of course.
If you didn't watch Being the Elite, you probably hated this moment.
If you don't know anything about Joey Ryan, you probably didn't know.
Or if you just hate Joey Ryan.
Yeah, if you hate Joey Ryan.
You
Which
didn't
I don't
like
understand
this.
how people. I really don't get it.
I don't either.
Joey is fun as hell, man.
Like, I don't understand.
The
Like, just
penis
because he
thing
cares
is
about his penis.
hilarious.
Yeah, the penis thing is funny. Like, wrestling is funny.
Well, since when did wrestling get elevated? Kiss my ass. Kiss my ass. All of a sudden, the penis thing is too far to go. Kiss my ass.
Yeah, like, that's like saying you think, like, it's like, yeah, the Rikishi sting face was stupid and was childish, but you always liked it.
Yes, of
and
course.
It's the same thing with Joey Ryan's penis. Like, but beyond that, you know, I love.
It was a great Undertaker ripoff. It was
Great
brilliant.
Undertaker, and I didn't even realize what was going on until like Jamie was next to me and he was like, "Oh my God, this is Undertaker with penises," and I went, "Oh my God, this is Undertaker with penises." We were both drinking at this point.
Oh, fair enough.
But we were both like, "Oh my God, Undertaker with penises! This is the greatest idea ever!" And like the thing they played when they showed his penis just rising too. Hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I saw that Matt tweeted saying that they had to hold on to that footage for 4 months and it's been killing them because they filmed it at the same time when they filmed his murder or whatever. Loved that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw a lot of hate for the Dick Druids thing on the internet.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
That's so ridiculous.
I mean, the Dick Druids thing to me was honestly the best moment of the night. Like in terms of like Cody was historic wise. Like I wanted to be all in for historic purposes.
Right.
Like this is good. I in my opinion, I'm hoping that this was like those who went to WrestleMania 1. I'm hoping. I think that's what a lot of people who were there felt like why they went. You know, so. I love the historic nature of Cody Rhodes winning the NWA title, but I'm also someone who loves the campy side of wrestling as well, who loves the jokey dick stuff as well. So I can't help that I loved the Joey Ryan thing.
You can't have one without the other.
No.
Especially at an indie wrestling show.
Exactly. And it was one of those things where like the birth of Hand is something so ridiculous that no one will ever forget it.
Right.
But what, did you all like it? Not necessarily.
No.
This was like all-in version of that, where it was like, but everyone who watches Being the Elite loved it. So like, I get it. The outside people who don't like Joey Ryan, don't like Dick stuff, don't like all that, might roll their eyes at this. But fuck, that was funny.
It was great.
And it was one of the few things that happened at the show that are clearly going to directly affect things that are going on Being the Elite. Yeah. I mean, the fact that they had to carry Adam Page away, that they did the whole, they carried him away, the Dick's carrying him out and stuff. I was low key hoping.
Brilliant.
A piece of me was, and I know they were strapped for time as the show went on, as we are getting as well.
We are. Yes.
But we can go for like 10 more minutes. All right. But I was hoping that they would do a sacrifice thing where they put him like on the, you know how the Undertaker logo with Stone Cold on it? I was low-key hoping they did a giant dick with Adam Page on it, like being sacrificed, but I realized that they might have gone.
They could have done a Braveheart moment and cut his penis off.
Oh shit! Oh man, that would have been crazy.
That would have been brilliant. You gotta go all the way, damn it! All right, Ring of Honor Championship match was next. Jay Lethal coming out in the Macho Man gear, which was great, with leaving Lanny Poffo, the genius. Yeah, that was so awesome, and he kept the voice going throughout the whole match. Great stuff. Well,
for most of the match, because
most of the match, right?
That was what the most. Honestly, I loved the Lanny stuff. I loved the Macho Man stuff. But fuck. This was so impressive as the wrestler Jay Lethal is so good. Yeah. It is not often you see someone in a match switch characters, and so much so to where it affects the full style of how he wrestles. Yeah. He was wrestling the old school, just like Macho Man. Moves, everything.
It's his black machismo.
Totally. Yeah. But to be able to switch that at the turn of a drop of a hat and switch to Jay Lethal, who's super indie wrestler, that was so impressive. Yeah, that was so impressive. Such a good idea to have Lanny there. It made that whole thing so much more important.
And Brandy doing the whole, essentially being the pseudo Miss Elizabeth for everything. When he put her on his shoulder, it was like,
or when he dragged her into his corner, and was like, "You got to stay here."
What are you doing? All of that was genius. It was just so much fun because it evoked one of the legends of the game in Randy, and of course Miss Elizabeth, who also passed away. And so it's great to see that and the way he played it. And look, Jay has always done a great job doing the Black Machismo gig. That and his Ric Flair are my two things that I absolutely love about Jay. To have him fight this match and Flip giving everything. Flip fought a great match. Yep. But in the end, it makes sense. You got him into, he won the Battle Royal. He had his time shining like that. He didn't need to win the title. So Jay keeping the title was great. And overall, I thought this was an enjoyable thing. And it was a good palate, and something to say though, a championship match. It was a good palate cleansing match.
It was
between what we'd seen with Cody and what we'd seen with Hangman Page, and then the Dick Druids. This was a nice way to kind of palate cleanse and move on to the next.
Yeah, it almost got us back on track to where we had been before, because it really is one of those things. And I know it's kind of the running theme from my opinion of it, but it was one of those things where it paid tribute to the past, while also paying tribute to someone like Jay Lethal, who has been a pioneer of indie wrestling. Yeah. He was very young when he started Ring of Honor, and he has been successful on the indies that whole time. So yeah, this was all. I know I said the other two moments were my favorite moments, but this was right underneath it. I love Macho Man Randy Savage, so I thought this was great.
Some people complained online. I saw that they didn't like that it went on too long. It went on too long. I'm like, the Black Machismo thing. I'm like, man, shut up. Yeah. If you got a problem with the Dick thing, but then you're like okay with Machismo or vice versa, it's the same damn thing. It's a fun thing that is just there for you to enjoy. And if you like the Rocky 3 thing at the beginning with Kazarian and Scorpio and Sky, then what's your issue here? So to me, I was just like, be quiet. Let Jay do what he does.
It also paid off a storyline they've been doing on Being the Elite again.
Did.
I mean, I never thought that the whole slap on the shoulder thing they've been doing with Jay Lethal was going to lead to something so awesome, you know?
Yes.
And that was smart on their part. I mean, they've been building that one up for a few months now, so that was great. I liked it.
Well, let's move on to my favorite match, Kenny Omega versus Pentagon Jr. Listen,
my favorite as well.
Listen, I've become a Pentagon Jr. fan thanks to Aaron introducing me to him through Lucha, and then watching the stuff that he's done in Impact where he's at. All the stuff that he's doing there, the two versions of Pentagon that you get. But Kenny, obviously coming out of NJPW, winning that title, doing what he did, and having this match. I'm telling you once again, this is one of those matches where I thought they killed each other multiple times throughout the whole thing. I mean, the Pentagon Jr.'s move onto the outside the ring ropes, onto the edge of the apron. Jesus, Mary, Mother of God! I really thought they had killed each other multiple times. It was so insane. And then having the swerve with Jericho coming, which I totally knew that wasn't Pentagon because there's no tats and it was a white boy's arms. I was just like, there's no way that's a Mexican under there. And I just was being Latino. I know. And so when that happened, I was like, who the hell? Oh shit! And then just before he pulled off the mask, I realized who it was.
Well, it was also a little obvious when that light stayed off for as long as it did. Where you were like, okay, well, and then when it came back on and nothing happened because of it, you were like, that's not Pentagon Jr. That's definitely not Pentagon Jr. And I meant to say this is my second favorite match tonight because my first was the ladder match.
Right.
But yes, dude, they killed it. I mean, Pentagon Jr. is a star.
Really is.
Kenny Omega is the man.
Yeah.
Those V triggers are always impressive.
Ooh.
You're just like, fuck, he's gonna knee that man's head off. You just half expect like a head to go flying off into the audience every time. So hard hitting match. I really, really, really like this match. You know, the Jericho thing is slowly starting to be less interesting to me. Now, granted, I'm not as big of a Jericho mark as I used to be because he hates me and he says all these mean things about me. So that might factor into my. Yeah, he is not a fan of mine.
Why?
It's a long story.
Okay.
But
well, you don't want to mess with Jericho. I mean, he beat up Goldberg for God's sake, or whoever. Yeah, he beat up Goldberg.
It was when he. I know we're strapped for time here, but it was when he. It was something related to his cruise, and he wasn't happy. And then when he was doing New Japan for the first time, he dedicated his match to Chris Benoit, and I thought that was kind of weird, and he didn't like that. So I don't know. Him showing up at random times with masks on is kind of starting to be the same thing now. Multiple times he's done this in New Japan and other. He's done this now a few times, but regardless, it was cool, fun to have Jericho on there. I mean, this is the first non-WWE show he's done in North America in forever. So it was cool.
Yeah.
A nice moment. He did look, cool in the Pentagon Jr. mask or makeup and all that kind of stuff. I did think it was weird to promote his cruise when no one can watch the cruise matches.
Yeah.
So it's like you're promoting something that's strictly just to help this guy out for his cruise.
Right.
So I don't know if I necessarily cared 100% because it wasn't like we're wrestling all in too. It was like we're wrestling on this thing that none of you can watch because it's not streaming anywhere. So don't know if I cared that much, but the match was, man.
Dude.
Pentagon's the man. I also heard, had a little inside line while I was out there that, and I don't know, this, could be, this is just from one source who I do trust, who told me that these rumors about Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix being on the way to WWE are a little overblown.
Okay,
that
good.
they're maybe not. It's not like an imminent thing.
I don't want him on WWE.
Me neither. I literally, the person I was talking to, I was like, I really hope it's not true because I know they have. They know they have much more of an inside line than most that I would ask on that. They wouldn't have a cool name for him. Nope. They would neuter everything about them.
Yep.
Phoenix would become Sin Cara or
Psychosis from WCW. It'll be that.
Yeah. So yeah.
Or La Parka with the chair. It just won't work the way it should work 100%.
Agreed. It needs to be a real, Pentagon Jr. is a very adult-themed character, and I don't think he works in a child audience.
There's blood coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, I agree. So I did hear that, and I'm glad. To be honest with you, if I was one of the top talents in wrestling right now, I would not be rushing to sign with WWE right now. I love WWE. I am a huge WWE fan.
Of course.
I know that there is huge opportunity there, but for the first time in a long time, there might be opportunity outside of it, and if you can be part of that movement, it might not be the dumbest thing.
I think the fans are swinging back towards the Attitude Era type of vibe. I think they are. The WWE just isn't ready to go with it anymore because they don't have their fans. They don't have the guys and the ladies in the locker room to pull that off again. Because if you're going to go Attitude, you got to go all the way Attitude, and that's why these indie shows work because there is a hunger amongst wrestling fans to see that kind of violence.
Well, this show did feel very Attitude Era without the shittiness of the Attitude Era.
Exactly.
Without the
no TNA.
No TNA. Yeah, you're not offending minorities. You're not it was more of an adult themed show. with awesome wrestling.
Yeah.
Which is not something you necessarily got in the Attitude Era, but the adult-themed part, I think, is what kind of correlates there.
And Omega defeated Pentagon, which was a little bit...
It made the most sense to me.
Did it? Okay.
You don't think so?
No, I was like, well, you big Pentagon, give him a, but I get it.
When Kenny didn't have the IWGP title with him, I did think that maybe Pentagon was going over.
Yeah.
But it really didn't make sense to book any of the Being the Elite guys to lose, except for this next match, who it did make sense.
Yeah,
in my
which
opinion.
is the Kazuchika Okada versus Marty Scurll. I think I can say that right. But I will say one last thing. The Pentagon bombs, there's no way he can get away with those in WWE. So there's no way he should go. Because, I mean, if you can't even do a damn DDT in WWE, there's no way you can do a Pentagon bomb in WWE.
No.
Anyway, this match, I didn't know what to expect from this match. I didn't, and I was really fascinated. Okada is not a guy who sells the moves in the traditional way.
Yeah.
So that was fascinating to watch Marty break him down piece by piece. But, look, there were some great standout spots in that match. When he's doing the 205 and then he grabs his finger, that was genius. Yeah. All of that flipping around. I thought this was an interesting match. I thought they were both trying to figure out their styles as the match was going, and then just really kicked into high gear and just had a great match overall. It's always interesting when the Japanese guys face the dudes from this side of the water and how that works out, and can they find the chemistry? Because it's obviously two different, culturally different styles. Yeah. And I really enjoyed this match overall.
I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it. No, yes. I think both wrestlers are really good.
Yeah.
It did appear as though this match was the one that went over in length, though. It felt like this was the match that took away from the main event. And in my opinion, the main event was more important than this match was.
I agree with that.
So the fact that this match got so much more time than the main event, when really those people wanted to see the Young Bucks and Rey Mysterio in the main event, it did mess with that a little bit. Yeah. I do think that considering Marty was the only one from Being the Elite they booked to lose,
You're right.
I could see... in his mind, him feeling like he needed to make up for that in some way. No, I don't know if anything happened, but I'm just saying, like,
Certainly
in
fair.
terms of like trying to go, because I've seen a bunch of reports on like PW Insider and stuff like that where it was that the Marty match is the one that went the long in length, and that's the one that went over.
Oh, okay. That affected the last two matches.
That affected the last match.
Okay.
And so
last match, rather. Yeah.
So I could see them maybe being like, hey, we need to this was my big moment. I'm going to lose. I need to look a little more. I need to look a little more strong here, and so maybe added a few extra minutes to this match. So it helped this match, but it did hurt the event overall because like that speech that happened after the show that we posted the video of should have been on pay-per-view. I mean, a lot of that stuff people wanted to see. They wanted to see the post-match speech. They wanted to see all of that. The fact that the Young Bucks had to finish the event with 1 minute to spare, like that literally was like 1, 2, 3 in the match, the pay-per-view went off the air. That was a little bit of a bummer. Kind of felt like it was, as someone who, I know that when it comes to wrestling, staying on time is so important at a big event like this because you're literally just affecting other people who've worked really hard. And the Young Bucks worked really hard for this event. So it did suck that the main event went short seemingly because of this match when it wasn't necessarily one of the most anticipated matches of the show. But it was a good match. I enjoyed it. It was good. I was a little bummed that it seemed to take away from the main event.
And I thought Scurll wrestled a good match.
Totally. Honestly,
so that was like
he had a great match. I mean,
he got like Okada, man.
And it showed that he could be on Okada's level. Which was important. It was very important. I just felt like since Marty was losing anyway, it didn't need that extra minute. However long he went over, should have gone.
And it may have been that early part where they seemed like they were figuring each other out, taking their time with these moves, which I was kind of surprised by. So
it did start off slow. And then when he wasn't there for the end of the show, Marty, for the post match speeches, you could see the video on the site, but like they called out everyone from the Elite. Who all came out, the fans, family, everyone, except for Marty.
Oh, interesting.
So that was kind of weird, you know? So I'm interested in what happened there.
Maybe it was Marty's, man.
Maybe. But it was a good match. It was very entertaining. They had to have one person from the Elite lose. So that people won't go like, oh, you did this giant vanity show just to have you all win. Like, they had to book one of them to lose, and it was the one that made the most sense.
Yeah, agreed. Well, finishing off, Rey Mysterio, Phoenix, and Bandito, as you're saying, against the Young Bucks and Kota Ibushi. I liked this match, but you're right. I think the ending affected the overall quality of it because it did feel rushed and not earned. And Ray had some great... Look, the Wolverine Luchador thing, that was brilliant. Sick. It was brilliant.
Sick,
I mean, you grab two cultural pop cultural things that are happening at the same time. You combine them, just smart all around.
Yep.
Which proves where Ray's at. He looked great. I thought the match overall was fun, interesting. A lot of good moves, a lot of high flying moves, all that kind of stuff. A lot of twists and turns. You didn't know. It did feel like the Young Bucks were possibly going to lose themselves, which would have been incredible.
Oh, I would have been so mad. I would have been pissed though.
Yeah, you would have been if they booked themselves to lose on their own event.
I would have been pissed. Everyone wanted to see Cody win the NWA title. Everyone wanted to see the Bucks main event a 10,000 seat show and win. You know, not put over the guy who's going back to WWE.
That's true. Fair enough.
But yes.
But did you like the match overall?
I liked the match overall. It just like I said, it really did cause like a disconnect in the main event. Things felt rushed.
Yeah.
It did seem like there were stuff they didn't necessarily get to. They wanted to do. Yeah. It didn't have the same. A lot of matches you see of the Young Bucks in New Japan, they're selling like crazy.
Yeah.
They're really trying to go above and beyond to show their naysayers that they're not what they think they are.
Right.
What those people think they are. And I don't think they got a chance to do that in this match as much. Like I liked it. History making wise, it was awesome.
Right.
Rey Mysterio looked cool as Lucha Wolverine. Bandito got to show that he is a star.
Yeah.
Kota Ibushi, Rey Mysterio got a cool moment. We got cool things in this match. I just wish we got 10 more minutes out of it.
Yeah.
I feel like it didn't necessarily feel like the main event.
Yeah.
I feel like if they had ended the show with Cody versus Aldis, it would have maybe felt like more of a main event.
I think that should have been the end.
Yeah.
I really do. I think these guys should have had their time in the middle of the pay-per-view to shine. And then you end it with Cody and the tearful thing and winning it and everybody being celebrated and they go home happy.
I honestly believe the reason they didn't do that is politics.
Oh,
because
really?
technically they're all under contract at Ring of Honor. So my guess is that really, we didn't let you do the show, and so you're gonna end it promoting NWA? Like what? That was my guess.
Probably
because that didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It didn't make a lot of sense.
You have to put it in the middle of the fucking show.
It put it in the middle of the show. Also, Rey Mysterio is a legend.
Of course.
Much more than Nick Aldis. So I
Sure.
could also see that too, of being like, well, Rey Mysterio is undoubtedly the most famous person on this of our card, So put him in the main event against Kota Ibushi and the Young Bucks. I get that too. I get it. Yeah. I just felt like it didn't necessarily give that go home happy ending that you wanted at the show.
Yeah, don't disagree with you there. But overall, so we're going to wrap this up now because we've gone a little bit past time. But overall, what is your feeling about All In, about this first effort by Cody and the Young Bucks to put on essentially an indie WrestleMania?
Yeah, I loved it. I really hope this isn't the only one. I really hope that they do a lot more of these. Cody had said they're all sticking together. Matt Jackson said after the show that they want to do more of these if people want to consume them. Mm-hmm. I hope this eventually leads to them doing their own promotion where Being the Elite gets a slot on WGN America or Sinclair or something like that, to where they get their own TV show and they can build up towards every 6 months doing an All In or some kind of big event. But honestly, if you didn't watch the show, go watch it.
Yes.
Really, go watch it.
I
can't recommend it enough.
Watch it more than once.
Especially
great matches.
Especially if you're someone who is down on WWE and wants an alternative. I can't stress enough how much I enjoyed it. It wasn't just a self-serving thing for the Being the Elite. It also, like I said, paid tribute to the past. It paid tribute to indie wrestling of yesteryear, throughout history. It paid tribute to so many things. If you're a wrestling fan, you're gonna like the show.
Yeah.
They didn't pay for my ticket. I bought my own ticket. I am gaining nothing out of this. I just am a fan, and I've wanted an alternative for a long time. And honestly, it was the first time in a long time where I went to a show and I watched a show where my intelligence wasn't being insulted and what I wanted mattered. What the audience wanted truly mattered. It wasn't someone being shoved down your throat. It was what you wanted, and I can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, and these and everybody who wrestled, male and female, gave everything. It felt like they gave everything they had in that show to make it work, to put it over the top.
Yep.
And it really did. To use a wrestling term, they put that indie show All In over the top.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was great to watch that. Ryan, tell everybody where they can follow us and all that kind of stuff.
I'm going to keep it quick because we got to get out of here. Follow me at Ryan Satin. I'm all social media. Follow Wrestling Sheet, all social media as well. We got a YouTube channel, youtube.com/CZN patreon.com/wrestling sheet. Go check it out there. Wrestling Sheet radio feed on iTunes and Podcast One as well for all the different shows that we do.
Yeah, and you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. We do all the recaps that we can here for Raw and for Smackdown. And these are the special ones we get a chance to do with these pay-per-views. It's always a lot of fun. Shout out to Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson and Cody Rhodes for putting this on. Listen, as a wrestling fan since I was 10 years old, watching on black and white TV in DC, it's amazing to see that it can still be vibrant and amazing and fun and irreverent and also incredible, and these incredible athletes giving of themselves. And it's not garbage at all. It's fantastic and it's fun. And if you haven't watched this pay-per-view, find a way to watch it and watch it again if you haven't and see what you think. So there you go. That's our wrap-up of All In. That's Ryan Satin. I am John Rocha. We will see you soon on Collider Bodyslam.
ProWrestlingSheet.com